Hello and welcome along to the final part of this Dorking Wanderers series from FM20 with me, Daniel. And this one is normally one of our favourite ones to look back on at the end. We have skipped 10 years in the future after we left Dorking Wanderers, and we're going to see what's been happening with Dorking since we left, whether they've sustained what we've done, built on it or dropped off. And of course have a look at how the footballing world's gone since. So if you're looking forward to that, please do chuck a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM20 content. A reminder again that from next week, the Cliftonville series will go full time. So every weekday at 4:30 and then 1 PM on the 2 weekend days. 7 episodes a week from Cliftonville, as well as our weekly live stream. This week we'll be back with Cliftonville tomorrow as normal. But today, it's all about looking at how Dorking have got on since we left them 10 years ago. I'm hoping, given the good young side we left them with, they've built on it. And I'm really hoping that we'll see at least one of those 3 young stars still at the club. But I'm sure we may be proven wrong. Incidentally, we're coming back just after either a World Cup or a Euros. It's the World Cup, which Italy have won, and England have lost their manager as a result. I wonder where they got to. We might go and look at that later on as well. But we'll start, of course, with Dorking Wanderers, just to see how things have been going without us. So it's the moment of truth, Dorking Wanderers. It's the start of the season, so 10th is just alphabetical. Wow. Holy smokes. They've won 4 titles. They won it 2 years after we left. Then they finished second, first, third last season. So basically, we left them on the cusp of greatness, and with 1 or 2 more additions, they've made it. And look at the captain and vice-captain. Morgan Morale and Gabriel Afonso still at the club. Morgan Morale now 33. I can see they've given up the wage structure. What a player he's become. Legendary midfielder. Gabriel Afonso the keeper. Oh, he's still brilliant at 34 as well. Wow. This is not what we expected. I saw some Community Shield wins there as well. So they have been winning other things too. That is amazing. Let's go and have a look at the squad quickly. How many do you think will be there? We know there's going to be 2. We had a young squad. Will there be any more? Oh, now I am delighted. Roger Solly is still there. 29-year-old centre-half worth 65 million now. He must have reached his potential then. Is there anyone else there bar those 3? I don't think so. So the only other one we've got to look at is Roger Solly. He's now 29, 105 caps for England. 250 grand a week he's on. He's made 374 league appearances. And look how good he is. Mentally and physically, he must be the best centre-half in the world. That's ridiculous. He's so good. Oh, if only he'd come along 10 years earlier. If we'd have had this to finish with. What a superb player. Well done him. Look, he won the Euros with England 2 years ago. I can see there's an FA Cup there as well. Roger Solly, what a player. And I tell you what, I'm so proud we had the start of his career and he has reached every ounce of his potential. They've got that Tony Smith who I recognise. He was at Arsenal when we retired from Dorking. But aside from that, it's a pretty new look side. Very interesting indeed. Let's go and have a look at the under-23s. Is there anyone else there that we recognise? I don't think so. I don't think there's any others in there. I just want to see who the best player is in the 23s and in the 18s as well. So Henning Brennan, he didn't come through here. I was looking to see who was in the youth academy. Neither is Farkas, the keeper, who, by the way, he's going to take over from Afonso, isn't he? World class already at 21. John Smith, the left back, he's come through at Dorking, so he looks a very decent player. In terms of the under-18s, who are the young stars? Keith Truman, a 16-year-old striker, can't finish. Billy Holloway, a defender, not the best. So that is perhaps a little underwhelming. If we go back to the senior squad, did I miss any youngsters there? Tommy Hyam at 19 years of age. So he's a good youngster from Dorking. So there's a few knocking about. But otherwise, relying on some of the stars that we had and plenty more that have been brought in since. And that is pretty remarkable. I did not expect Solly to still be here. No sign of Williams or Gleedle though, probably as we expected. So let's go and have a look at the transfer history. What we'll do is we'll go back to the season that we left the club, which I believe was the start of 36-37. Mau joined, yep, so it was then. And we'll go and work our way through the transfers. So after we left that season, they sold Correa to Bayern, Zach Council to Norwich, Aaron White to Norwich and Yonton to Bournemouth. So a few of the big boys leaving straight away. The season after, they spent massive money. I mean, 75 million on that guy. I'm not sure what position he was. Does it still say? He's an under-19s manager now, so we'll never know. But they spent big money on 4 players there. They let go Carl Boyce, Colin Horgan, Ariane Singh, Sam Williams left to Brighton for 40 million. Look at that, one of the youth academy players. He went for £40 million. He's played over 300 Premier League games. That's an incredible achievement. They've got to be proud of that as well. I'm delighted that he's had a really good career. Gleedel went on loan to Pompey. Jeff Coppens went to Dortmund for 74 million. Mertens left for 20. Petit went for a nominal fee. The following year, few more players in, not such big signings though. Going out, Leonardo Fabrizio, 61 million to Everton. He's a very good keeper as well. Stokic for 57, Davey for 22.5. We're watching the squad gradually turn over here, aren't we? So there were no massive seasons, it's just gradual turnover each time. No big boys leaving the year after, just one more coming into the club. The following year they spent massive again. Mitchell Baker went to Derby for 18 million. All of the other players that left were ones that joined after we left the club, so no other familiar names there. In 41-42, a few big signings again. Ryan Lima went for 40 million to Juventus. Anyone else from our era? Oh, back to Brazil for Marcos Paulo, £7 million. How did he do for us? 75 goals in 168. Good, so he had a good spell for us. He was obviously contributing to titles, so there can't be any complaints. Nobody else there I recognise though. Still haven't seen Gleedel again yet. Maybe he was released, I'm not sure. The following season, big money spent yet again. Who left the club? Anyone that we recognise? I don't know who's left at this point. Not many by the sounds of it. On to 2043-44. We've got the big shock. Jeff Coppens comes back for 55 million. He's left again since, but he was re-signed after he left the club. In terms of outs, Mau for 102 million to Barcelona. Good last signing that was then. Mazzino for 23.5 to Lyon. Any others that were at the club when we were? I don't think so. And in 2044-45, Segovia finally joined 8 years after we tried to get him. Hoffman from Chelsea. Any others going out? I think they're all players that joined afterwards. Yep, so no more left. And in 2045-46, last season, no more signings. It looks like Jeff Coppens was sold again. Segovia was sold on. Josima Semedo only left last year. He's gone to Arsenal, just past his peak now at 32. And Keith Balters, 2.6 million to Ajax, retired a year later. And they sold on another player for 110. So they've kept that pattern going of selling big. And in this year so far, who have they signed? Tony Smith just coming on a free actually. That striker we talked about. And a couple of others sold on. So that is eventful. I guess we've got to go and see, as well as the Premier Leagues, what else they've won and what managers they've had. So let's look at managers first. Dan Hickman did the caretaker role. Thomas Tuchel managed the whole way through actually. So the new manager's only just joined. Thomas Tuchel was the manager from the point we left until the very end of last season. 4 league wins and 13 cups. Jeez, we better go and see what they are. How many cup competitions has he won and where were they, what were they and how important were they? Champions League 2042, Club World Championship 2041, Europa League twice. The first one was with us, the second one 2 years later. 4 Premier Leagues we knew about. Another European Super Cup after the one we finished on. 3 FA Cups. 1 Europa Conference was us, the Championship was us. 2 Carabao Cups and in 2 other finals in the 40s as well. The same with the FA Cup actually. They reached the final 5 years in a row. 4 Community Shields with 4 backups in that as well, or runners-up, sorry. That's incredible. Really incredible from Dorking. I didn't expect it to be that good. Absolutely incredible. So we're going to go and have a look at the records, see if there's any others that have taken over since us. So most league goals for the club, still Morgan Morale. Most appearances, Gabriel Afonso. No one's topped Jason Pryor for goals in a season. 33 retired, but he was a key player in those first couple of years. Colin Horgan, still the youngest player in that Europa League Conference semi-final. Paul Konchesky, still the oldest from the first season. Fastest goal wasn't us. Cameron Archer still featuring on that page. Grant Jutkovic, the 1-goal wonder for the club. Keith Balters, the oldest goal scorer just before he left last year. The highest fee paid is still Morgan Morale, and the highest received now Wagner, 110. Just beating the fee that they received for Mau the year before. And the highest attendance, still that Europa League game that we had in 2035. Pretty incredible, really. Let's go and have a look though at the best 11. How many of our stars are still in there and how many have been taken over by this pretty much dominant side in England and Europe? Gabriel Afonso still there. Roger Solly's made his way in. Both made over 600 appearances in all competitions. The right back has never been heard of by us, so he joined afterwards. Semedo and Mazzino still in there. So actually, looking at this 11, it looks like the squad that we built is the one that then took them forward for most of this. Volta's still in the middle with Morale, 500 odd appearances again. Lima, Coppens, Mau and Lewis up front. So Marcos Paulo only on the bench. Jeff Coppens apparently now a number 10. Stropper, Jack Walker, Mitchell Baker, Stefan Mole still there and Aaron Presley. Good to see a few of the really old guards still in there. Stefan Mole still a bit of a hero. He retired at 36 but had a good career. And Jack Walker again. He plays so many league games for us, he deserved the mention. So I'm actually quite impressed that the side we built generally took them forward, and Thomas Tuchel seemed to love his time here. I didn't expect to see that, to be honest. I thought we might win a couple of trophies, but I didn't think that the side we'd set up largely would then go on and have dominance in both England and Europe. It shows how close to greatness we were. Perhaps if we'd had time for 5 or 10 more years, we could have been a hero even more. But let's finish off by doing what we normally do in the end of season review and have a look at who's been winning all the competitions. So in addition to Dorking Wanderers, Liverpool won the first one after we retired, United have won 4, Arsenal have won 1 as well, and Dorking Wanderers 4 as well, of course. Brilliant from them. Let's just go and have a look at the last table, just so we can see if there's any shocks. Not really, they're all Premier League or Championship clubs. The top 6 is still the same with the exception of Dorking replacing Tottenham, and even Tottenham and Everton are there or thereabouts. So no real surprises there. The Championship, no big shocks. Nottingham Forest still in there. Notts County, Oldham, Wrexham. Little bit of shift further down the pyramid then. So let's have a look at who's been winning it. A lot of the usual suspects, sort of yo-yo clubs they've become. And if we have a look at last season, just to see how that panned out. Again, usual suspects really. Tranmere were in the Championship, but mostly sides you'd expect to be where they were. League 1, we do have some shocks. Basingstoke and Dulwich Hamlet both in League 1 for this season. West Brom down there as well, I guess that's a slight surprise. Luton Town back in League 1, I think they were League 2 when we left, were they? Fulham in League 1 as well. A few sides dropping down the pyramid a bit. Let's see who's been winning it. Notts County last year. A few surprises perhaps in there. And let's have a look at last year's table. So, Basingstoke were 3rd, so they're on the cusp of promotion from League 1. They've built a really good side there. So fair play to them. Basingstoke having a good time. Luton back in there and in the top half. Charlton down to League 2 again last season. Interesting to say the least. And here is League 2. Gateshead are in there. Aldershot are in there. Boston United. I wouldn't say there's any massive ones. Perhaps Charlton you'd be surprised are down there. Bolton still in League 2. No real recovery from the sides that lost their ground early on. Haven't yet seen Grimsby or Macclesfield. But of course Macclesfield would just be happy to have a club in real life now. Devastating news after our series with them. If we look at last season in League 2, Newport and Salford out of the Football League. Yeah, nothing hugely surprising there. And then what about the National League? Well, I would argue that probably the biggest shock so far is Preston still in the National League. Look at that. They've just been on a slow downward spiral and now are a mid-table National League side. There's the likes of Oxford in there as well, who obviously League 1 in real life. But yeah, apart from that, I would say that's the big shock. Preston North End in the National League. You'd be very surprised to see that. I'm almost tempted to take them over, to be honest. Maybe that can be a little live stream carry on. Hales Owen and a couple of others doing really well to be at National League level still. Plenty of good stories, but also a couple of big negative shocks. If we look at last season, no huge surprises either way. But Preston mid-table, that really is a surprise. Let's go down to the National League North then, shall we? Any sign, I didn't check in the National League actually, Grimsby in there? No. So no sign of Grimsby, no sign of Macclesfield, and it looks like neither of them are back here. Cambridge United still in the National League North. Fleetwood still in there as well, National League North for them. We obviously helped them out as parent club. Scunthorpe in the National League North. There's a few sides that are right down there. That's a 3-league drop for 2 of them, a 2-league drop for Cambridge, but they've been there for a sustained period. If we look at last season, Stockport and Altrincham up. No massive shocks going down. Fleetwood not far away though. 3 points they survived by. And then finally the National League South. Colchester. Wow. There are some big shocks in here. Hitchin Town in the National League South. Heads up for FM21. They will feature in one of our series. Torquay, our FM19 club, still stuck down there as well. Let's look at last season. No shocks going down. Woking and Borehamwood back up. Where did Colchester finish? 13th. Blimey, there's a few clubs we could be saving here. I'm not sure which one to go for. Preston, Colchester, Scunthorpe perhaps? We'll have a look. But that is a pretty interesting football pyramid. Let's look at who's been winning the FA Cup. So Dorking Wanderers got 3, of course. Otherwise, all the big boys. No huge shocks there. The League Cup? No, all the big 6 still, apart from one for Everton, but they've been near or there or thereabouts. Community Shield, same 4 sides on rotation. And the Leasing.com trophy, actually largely under 21 sides. Only Hull and Chesterfield have broken that dominance. So it seems to be that the under-23's technical ability perhaps overpowers the physical and mental side, which in real life you don't see, of course, in this competition. Preston did win the FA Trophy, so at least they had a Wembley day to celebrate. A 3-1 win against St Albans in the final. Just want to have a look and see who some of their star players are. One's got the Hearts. One's still a decent player. Who scored the other goal? Hammond. Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. But some fairly familiar names in there. The odd ones in. Bromley making a final and winning a trophy. Halifax and Aldershot a bit further back. Let's go and have a look at the Champions League. English dominance, really. One for Atletico Madrid, one for Dortmund, one for Dorking, of course. But Manchester United with 4, Arsenal with 1, Chelsea with 2. No massive shocks outside of England. The Europa League, one for Bilbao, one for Leipzig. Otherwise, all English clubs. Obviously, Dorking won another. Milan won it the season we retired. 2 for Everton. It's a good surprise to see them up there doing well. And then let's move to the Europa Conference. Dundalk of Ireland won it. Derby won it last season, but the year before was Dundalk. Who's their best player then? Well, he's on 17 grand a week. Look at the Irish League go. Some massive English sides in there and a few of the Europe's big hitters. But Dundalk's certainly the standout there. Red Star getting some success as well. Didn't expect to see an Irish side win that competition. Excellent work indeed. And the European Super Cup, we know that Dorking have won 2. Dortmund and Atletico Madrid, but otherwise English dominance. So the last 2 things we're going to look at, the World Cup, of course. Italy won it this year and the time before, and Brazil the one before that. All of the usual suspects. It's basically been France and Italy the whole way through, bar a couple. If we then go and have a look at the European Championships, England the holders in 2044. We know Roger Solly was part of that squad. Before that, Spain won 4 in a row before Belgium and Holland the 2 times before. Very interesting, actually. The England squad, of course, featuring the mighty Roger Solly. He is an absolute superstar for his country and he's listed on the top players screen. So he's that important to the country that he's playing regularly and he's a star. He's alongside Barry Pratt, who, if we'd been successful, would have been playing alongside him at club level as well. But it wasn't to be. A very interesting look round, actually. The only question that wasn't answered is Gleadle. I'm not sure where he is, so let's make that the last thing. He's at Seattle, over in the MLS. Played 45 times for Ireland, so he switched allegiances. Played a year at Portsmouth, and then has been in the MLS for 8 years. Didn't expect to see that, but a really good player, getting 70 grand a week. Fair play to the kid. That's a wonderful achievement. I'm really proud of that. I'm really pleased with it. It's great to see so much happening. Let me know down in the comments, would you like to see one of them failing clubs taken over in a stream save? Because of course with the Burnley one, we're coming towards the end of the season. So just to tick us over for a few weeks, we could see if we could get a promotion or something. And let me know your thoughts on that. Of course, let me know in the comments what you think of Dorking since we left the club. A very interesting time to say the least. And we'll finish on our profile to see how our reputation's changed since we left Dorking Wanderers. If you did enjoy this episode though, please do put a big thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM20 content. From next week, Cliftonville will take over 7 days a week. The feedback to the series has been sublime. So thank you for your incredible support. And I hope you continue to enjoy the series as much as I am making it. You can check out all of our podcast content as well. There's a link to the channel in the eye above. We've got interviews with professional footballers, weekly championship predictions, and of course topical podcasts and matchday vlogs too. And for those of you that have hung on through this point, a very quick glimpse at Lionel Messi, TNS superstar manager in our latter years in charge, now the Barcelona manager as you'd expect. He's been there for 8 years and he's doing a very good job. But a wonderful series, a wonderful look back 10 years on. I'm really pleasantly surprised by how Dorking have sustained that. I finish on the facility screen so you can pause it and have a look if you want to, but needless to say, everything's state of the art. And a massive thank you for watching this one and following along as always, and I hope to see you again tomorrow as we resume our Cliftonville story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.